And when you have a product that individuals around the world sees valuable, it needs to also have an impact on individuals here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And one of the most important things that we have seen, especially with the affordable housing PBO, is that at every life cycle of the process, it's going to be managed by locals.
Hello and welcome to CBI 101. I am your host, Scoticia Hendrickson. Today I'm joined by His Excellency Mr. Calvin St, Juste, Executive Chairman of the Citizenship by Investment Unit here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Today we will be discussing public benefit options and the direct impact it has on our community. So our first question is, what is a public benefit option? And can you explain the differences?
Yes. So first off, thank you very much again for having me here. I think this is my third go around, and so that means I'm welcome to be part of this conversation, which is CBI 101, episode 3. I hope I got that correct. So what we have in regards to our investment components at the Citizenship by Investment Program, we really have a number of options that we provide to investors. We have one that is called the Sustainable Island State Contribution. And really, that is our flagship fund. And when it's a flagship fund, it is truly the investment that our applicants make towards national infrastructure development, growth of the country. And these funds go into various housing, healthcare, and infrastructure. And that initially was architected based on the vision of the government to move St. Kitts and Nevis into a sustainable island state. And how then you have a laudable goal, you need the funding. And so by recreating the historical SIDF fund, or the Sustainable Growth Fund, into a sustainable island state contribution, it allows those investments to be directed by the government in terms of how they're going to support the Sustainable Island State Fund. Now, with the public benefit option, what that is, it's really it's investment that are directed to government-approved projects. The intent, as it says, is public benefit. And the goal really is to ensure that investors can truly contribute their investment to those government-approved projects, capital projects, to support the development of the Federation.
That leads me into my second question. You would have pointed out a few things, but what are the current public benefit options that are available?
Sure. We wanted to ensure that we can leverage our program to support projects that the government sees as valuable and inversely to support our citizens. And so they span across a number of economic and social development engagement. As I would have mentioned, from infrastructure, tourism, healthcare, hospitality, and education and housing. And so by doing that, we were then able to determine what type of key projects that would be quite valuable to the continual development of the nation and inadvertently support our citizens here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So currently we have 5 public benefit options, and the acronym is PBO. We tend to be in the business of acronym. And I'll walk you through each one of them because it's important that individuals understand that the CBI isn't just a vehicle to just accept funds and simply deposit it into the nation. But we also have management oversight. We also have to be part of these to ensure that they're delivered appropriately. So we have, as part of the education aspect, you would have heard the Basseterre High School, which has been in conversation for many years. And we are happy to say, as part of the Citizenship by Investment program, we were able to secure a principal investor who happens to be Citizen, dual citizenship, Barbados and Citizen, but we would say Citizen first. And this principal, with his company, have been afforded the agreement to construct the Basseterre High School. As such, they would be using, obviously, procuring local materials and so forth, and using our local tradesmen here in the construction. And where we are in that component is that you would have heard there had been some earth movement, and we're proud to say that the aspect of the construction will be beginning fully this year. So that's the first one under the umbrella of education. The second one ties to tourism. St. Kitts and Nevis is a destination place. And if you have a destination place, first you have to be able to get to the destination. And so when we look at our airport, there needed to be some level of development, some level of renovation, but even more so, an expansion. But before we can get to an expansion, we needed a design. What is the concept? What is it going to look like? And so the second benefit option, public benefit option that we have, aligns itself to our tourism. And that is part of the airport expansion component. And so what we have is a public benefactor, a company that we have engaged with, the government has engaged with, to design what the future of our airport is going to look like. And upon the completion of the design and the approval with our CASPA, then we will then begin the procurement of getting a construction company to execute on that. The third one is a very important one, and it sits in almost the work that you do, our creative arts. When we think about our young people here and the talent that they have, we wanted to be able to provide them a place that they can demonstrate their talent. The creative economy, at times, sometimes we only look at it when there is a specific timeline, whether it's music festival, carnival, and so forth. But that goes over a period of time. And so we have, as part of our public benefit option, the construction of a state-of-the-art, I would say one of the best in the Caribbean and can rival international level creative arts center. And that in of itself, we are seeing significant movement. There has been the tender of the contractor, so that's taking place this quarter. And in short order, we will hopefully begin seeing some ground movement. And I think there's a lot of excitement around that. The fourth one is a quite interesting one. It's the Marriott. And when we began the aspect of how is Marriott able to be a public benefit option, I think we double-click more on the name rather than what Marriott is. Marriott is a partner to St. Kitts and Nevis, and I'll explain what that means. Marriott provides the water where we are here on this side from the desalination plant that they have to the area of Frigate Bay. So a lot of the restaurants and some of the residential areas here, they provide that. Secondly, the support is one of the largest employer. And the keyword, as we say, public benefit option has to benefit the public. And being a major employer is a major contribution support to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And they also provide scholarships in the area of culinary support to some of the employees and individuals as well. So that area ties into our tourism component as the fourth, I would say, public benefit option that we have in place. And then what we have is the most recent one, which we are discussing here, the affordable housing. And I think it goes without saying, people feel safe and secure when they have their own. And we're proud to say that, with the affordable housing public benefit option, this PBO is truly going to impact the lives of those individuals in St. Kitts and Nevis, low to medium income families who will now be able to move out of a rental component and be able to secure their own respective homes.
So, Mr. St. Just, you've shared quite a bit of information so far. Can you tell us more about the affordable housing project and what it aims to achieve?
Yes, the affordable housing project under the public benefit option, the goal primarily is to ensure that low to medium individual income families can afford a home. What we've done, we've partnered with an investor within the Citizenship by Investment Program, an investor out of Canada called Client Referrals. And they have been in this program, our Citizenship by Investment industry, for a number of years, over 25 years. And they've raised over $9 billion. And so we're quite happy that we've been able to partner with them to deliver over 100 to 150 affordable homes to families who can now be able to afford these homes. The goal is to deliver these homes in about 12 to 16 months. And I'm proud to say that construction has already begun. The most important thing, and you said it, is part in the name, they have to be affordable. And that is critical. We've seen where families, for no uncertain reason in terms of impacting their lives, who have tried and they face consistent barriers, whether it's an income restriction, whether it's the extensive, having, as I said, having too much resources too much expenses at the end, at the big of your paycheck. But now we're able to have an opportunity to provide to them a home. And there's nothing more personal than having a home of yourself. And I would say, even for myself, growing up with a single parent, where you had to rent, and for many reasons, the extension of the income might not have been at the level to give you the opportunity. And then when you were able to afford a home, it gives you pride and confidence, and it gives you that level of feeling that you can now achieve anything. And so I think sitting here as the executive chairman and being able to deliver this component under my tenure leadership, I am very proud. It's almost a legacy. I think, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Ju, has been an advocate. He has been an advocate for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I think it's an important aspect that he can say that now, that here is now the opportunity to give citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis across various income level the opportunity to own something of their own.
How does this initiative align with the public benefit option under the CBI program?
Yes. So the CBI, St. Kitts and Nevis CBI, and I always have to remind people, we were the architect of this industry. We're not just participants, we created it. In the 1983/84, 41 years old. And when you have a product that individuals around the world sees valuable, it needs to also have an impact on individuals here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And one of the most important things that we have seen, especially with the affordable housing PBO, is that at every life cycle of the process, it's going to be managed by locals. It's going to be delivered by locals. So if you start at the top, we receive the investment and we thank Client Referral for the investment, but now we have to demonstrate and deliver. So the National Housing Corporation is going to have oversight. The fund is there. It's already, as the homes already began building. In addition to that, it will be managed and overseen by local project managers, individuals that folks that that's money in the economy. The individuals that's going to be building the homes, the local tradesmen from St. Kitts and Nevis. And that was very clear when the architect of a public benefit option. It must, in all aspects, benefit the public. We have a wonderful product here at the Citizenship by Investment Program that people around the world, as we would have seen the geopolitical instability, and people have seen the value that the citizenship and St. Kitts offers. But it's now our turn to now make sure that we feel the value. And I think this in of itself is really a core architect of what public benefit option is. It's not just an investment, but it's going to be something that adds value to our citizens for generations. Families can pass this down. They can expand upon it. They can build in different areas. But the most important piece, before you can expand, before you can grow, you have to afford it. And giving them the opportunity with very, very, very flexible and generous payment option is something I think we are proud of, that we can deliver here in St. Kitts under our Citizenship by Investment Program under the option of a public benefit option.
Mr. St. Just, you've shared quite a bit of information so far, and I'm sure persons listening are so excited for this initiative to come about. How will the homes be delivered, and who will benefit from these homes?
Yeah, absolutely. So the homes will be constructed on lands provided by our National Housing Corporation here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And they're the ones who will sort of have a oversight of it. It is mandated that they must use local contractors. And in addition, we at the CBI, as part of our responsibility, as not just the procurement of funds, but we also have to make sure that the delivery and the execution of these projects are completed in an effective and efficient and at an international standard. So we will have oversight as well to ensure that they're completed. So again, it is going to be managed and delivered by local. It is going to be constructed by locals. The procurement and the opportunities that it will bring from job opportunities, economic activities, is truly within the local economy. Look, I think we've heard when I took over this institution, and it still hasn't been a full year as yet. I think we had faced a lot of challenges. We came in with the aspect of full transformation of the CBI program. We faced a number of challenges locally in terms of people and the citizens advocating to ensure that the investment touched them. And I think this in of itself is one of the starting, because we have more to come, tangible aspect of how the program is showcased in what it was designed to do. Our national housing will be overseen and providing the land. We will have a local contractors. That's a job in the economy. They will be hiring local tradesmen, from electrician to the plumbers to the person who run the blocks. I think we may run into a situation where we may not have enough tradesmen here in St. Kitts, and that's a great opportunity. I think that is a problem we would love to have. And most importantly, I would share this, client referral not only provided the funding for this, but they have an invested component where the principal, the head of the corporation, an individual I know who's the company is a Canadian-based company, he told me as part of the negotiation aspect that these homes must be delivered. These homes must be delivered by the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. They must be constructed by the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that he can bring his son here to St. Kitts and show him, here's what this investment, you may have had a wonderful life, but let me show you what some of the investment that is doing to the lives of people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so, it's very rare that you find such a a committed investor to not only provide the funding, but also has a commitment to making sure that the investment is managed. It creates job opportunity. It's rather than just saying it, but we have to now deliver it. And we have a responsibility at the Citizenship by Investment to make sure that it is completed. And we are very involved in this initiative.
So, in essence, this initiative not only benefits the homeowners, but those who are a part of the process in the end. So, it's an all inclusive.
It's an all-inclusive aspect of a, we said, public benefit option where the public will truly benefit from this.
Right, and that's great. That's great. Then it takes me to my other question.
Sure.
These houses, these homes, where will they be built?
So these homes will be built across various constituents in St. Kitts, and they have been identified specifically by our National Housing Corporation in areas where there is a significant need of housing for families in the low and middle income component. The locations in phase one rolled out that has been identified is really across 4 areas. The first will be St. Peter's. The second will be in Sandy Point. The third will be Newton Ground. And the fourth will be Halfway Tree. And this is part of the phase one rollout. And you know, one of the things has been very clear that it has to go across all elements of St. It's not just concentrated in one area. And I think this in of itself is going to touch every corner of individuals who are in that category and give them that opportunity, you know, in various sectors. So it's, you know, it's in Basseterre and it's in the rural area of the country as well. So we wanted to make sure that everyone can benefit from this initiative.
Sticking true to its name.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So, what is the role of client referrals in this initiative?
So client referral, they will be classified as a public benefactor in regards to their being the investment or the central investment principle for this engagement here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The key areas, as we said, is, you know, the way our program works specifically, and I mentioned our public benefit options are really private sector led to deliver on government approved projects. And so you have a private investor who's based in Canada. They have done extensive work in Antigua, and we're very happy that they're now coming, they've now begun to support St. Kitts in the area from a citizenship by investment component. And they have been very clear. They're not a construction company. They were very clear, is that they're not a construction company. But their main aspect is to provide that investment to support with job opportunities here in St. Kitts and Nevis, to support opportunities for local tradesmen, for local project managers, for local contractors to get that opportunity. So in collaboration with the Citizenship by Investment Program, we will have a clear partnership. You know, we also have a responsibility to ensure that the NHC delivers on this investment and making sure that the NHC is mandated to contract local individuals to build these homes. And we also have a responsibility that the structure of the payment is within a flexible, affordable component. So we have a really big job for this public benefit option, because it's not just an asset that's going to be built and then it just remains. We have a vested interest to make sure it's completed by locals and it reaches in the hands of the individuals who truly can benefit from it.
My next question is, how does this initiative reflect the overall direction of the citizenship by investment?
That's a great question. The Citizenship by Investment Program is going through a transformation. I think there has been, the word, the letter C, which people use the word challenge. I use the word change. And then we've now codified it as the T for transformation. Historically, our program has been leveraged to raise capital and build an asset. And that continues, and we're appreciative of all our developers who has partnered with us and continue along the journey for many, many years. But we now need to be innovative in what the next evolution of our program is. And realistically, this is coming from our international partners, and they've been saying this over and over, that the investment that comes through this program must touch the lives of the individuals. And yes, historically, that's how it has been. But what I really wish under my leadership is that we get the capital first. And this is the most important piece. The capital is secured and we begin doing the work and ensuring that the investor gets their return, of course, for that level of risk that they've put out from that end. So the evolution, and this is one of many. My goal, in my tenure, is to ensure that we raise the funds and we immediately put the funds to work, that people can see the activities happening. And as I just shared, the amount of public benefit options that will begin construction in either Q4 of 2025 or Q1 of 2026. And we have not even turned 1 year yet as a statutory corporation. October 1st of 2024 is when we transition from a government entity to a statutory corporation operating as a business. And to have all of these coming on stream in such short order, it's really a testament of, first off, I would say my team, regarding for the board of governors who continuously challenge me and they push me, and I'm in many corners of the world, really advocating for St. Kitts and Nevis to get investors, to the executive team who are here on the ground, really making sure that we demonstrate what we classify as excellence. Excellence is important. My career has coming off of Wall Street is, there's always a 2.0 of you. In my world, you can't just be good for the 1 year. You're always planning to be even better for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And so that is the key thing that I wanted to make sure that, this program can deliver. And so the iterativeness of it is truly to make sure that at the end of all of this promotion and so forth and transformation, that the people in St. Kitts and Nevis can say and be ambassadors for our local CBI program. I was in the EU, at the EU Commission 3 weeks ago, presenting on behalf of the government in terms of what this program offers. And it's very clear our international partners do want the program to impact their lives, but they also want to make sure there's a level of integrity. They want to make sure there's a level of transparency. They want to make sure that the investment are truly touching the lives because, as it says, show me. And I think with this program and this public benefit option, we can show them that it's being done.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of CBI 101. I've been your host, Scoticia Hendrickson, and I've been joined with His Excellency, Mr. Calvin St, Juste, Executive Chairman of the Citizenship by Investment Unit here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We've been discussing the public benefit options and the impacts it has on our community. I hope you enjoyed. Stick and stay for more.